Thank you. My good friends Darren and Malik are so engrossed in conversation that they missed their cue to clap coming in, so we lost some of the volume and the funk of the thunk that you brothers usually bring us, but we'll make sure we get you the next time. But I'm glad to see you over there handling your business, Skip. You know, Darren and Malik, put those two minds together, the earth is going to tilt on its axis.
Yeah, be careful when you leave here, because it may have already cracked by that point.
We're going to have a seismic shift here in a minute. My name, once again, is Roland Baba Grimes. As you all know, we're here on the Roland Grimes, not just sports entertainment show, Roland Grimes Show Live. And as I told you, we had a very special guest. She is a 13-year-old 8th grade student at Akakeek Academy School. She has been accepted into the International Baccalaureate program at Douglas Senior High School. She also dances, models, plays the trombone of all things, and she currently dances with the Vision Contemporary Ensemble at Galilee Church here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. She has been awarded some fantastic types of, how should I say this, esteemed titles in pageants. Miss Delmarva, I'm reading some of the notes so I can make sure I get it right. Miss Delmarva and Miss Chesapeake State. She plans to travel to Europe, Italy, Spain, and France with the People to People Project Student Ambassador Program, and this fall will compete in the National Miss American Co-Ed Pageant in Orlando, Florida. She's packing all of that into just 13 years on this earth. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor if you would, for my guest co-host for the evening, Miss Makenzie Simmons.
My name is Makenzie Simmons, and I'm here with Mr. Skipper to talk about his new book, Life's Constant Struggles to Success.
That's you.
That's me. I'm here. And actually, before we get started, let me just say something that I think is important for some of you all to know that have not had an opportunity to meet this wonderful, wonderful young lady. I am a proponent for the youth having a voice, and not just a voice, but a strong voice. And this young lady, not only is she doing some amazing things, but I believe, I've said it on paper, I've said it on the record, I'm gonna say it again on the Roland Grimes Show. I think what you're looking at, and I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, I believe what you're looking at is one of our future leaders. And when I say that, I mean, I'm not discounting anything. The President of the United States, Congressman, Dr., lawyer, whatever she wants to be, with her parents backing her, and she has great parents and a great family, she is going to do it. Now remember, Wilbert Skipper, Mr. Self-Empowerment, I said this earlier. Okay, May 20th, 2014. Write it down.
And no, it's recorded. It's recorded. It's copywritten. So she has to make us part of her cabinet. I want to be your Minister of Fine Arts. So, President Makenzie, how does one get involved with the International Baccalaureate program at Douglas Senior High School? How does that happen?
Well, one, you gotta get good grades for sure.
You have to get good grades?
Yes.
So that means your grades are?
Straight A's and B's.
Wow.
Yes. And also, while being in the TAG program, Talented and Gifted program, so I already have a boost right there to help me get to where I am now.
Okay. Now, of all the schools you could go to, you decided to go to Douglas Senior High School next year. Why?
I felt that that kind of place is just for me because they have all the things that I love and that I'm really passionate about. Okay. And I feel that it's just the right place for me to be at. Okay. Now, you have an opening question for our esteemed guest here tonight as my esteemed co-host for this moment. Why don't you fire that question away and let's see how well he does on it, okay? I actually have a couple of questions for him. Oh, she's got a couple. So
well, I'm ready.
I'm gonna leave.
That's why they call me Mr. Self-Empowerment. I'm ready.
I'm going to leave the stage and come down there and hang out with Mark, the speaker man. Go ahead, sister, fire away.
Thank you. Have you always been a positive thinker?
Absolutely. I think when I was in my mom's womb, before I opened my eyes and I could see, positivity was written all over my face. Absolutely. I can go all the way back to the age of 10, which you read the book.
In the womb,
and I
though?
talked about
It
10.
just hit me what you just said. In the womb?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
positive
Well, see, I believe that before a child is actually conceived, physically comes out, you see the arms and legs and all that good stuff, that there's things happening inside. And so my mom told me she should always read positive books to me. She's always say positive things, no matter what was going on in her life or our family life. She's always read to me. And Lord behold, I believe that did something to me. And then when I came out, I just had it. I believe this. In everything negative that happens in life, there's something positive that you can draw from it. Unfortunately, what happens, Makenzie, is that a lot of us, we tend to stay too much on the negative side. And so we never get to the positive side. There's some incredible positive things that you can draw from that. So yes, to answer your question, yes. And you can tell I'm getting fired up now. Yes.
Well, that's a pleasant answer. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah, pleasant is one way to put it. I was over here, the stage was burning up. So go ahead with your next question, Ms. Makenzie.
Thank you. What can the younger generation learn from this book?
Well, a couple things. Probably don't have enough time to say everything, but I'll give you a couple points. First of all, as I tell my story, I started at a very young age. So I'm hoping that I can connect with kids from the age of 10 years old all the way up to adulthood.
You can start in the womb.
So-
Put this on audio.
So, yes, maybe I'll do that for the audio version. But in terms of the young folks, what I believe they can really get from this book is to know that despite the odds that may be faced against them or maybe against them, despite the negativity, despite the naysayers, despite all those people that just don't want to see you make it in life, that you can make it. You have to believe in yourself. It definitely helps to have God leading the way. As young as you can, if you could start that process at a very young age, I don't think there's anything that you cannot achieve in your life.
So look, do me a favor, man. You coming with so much funk right now, that mic can't even handle you. So you can actually just sit right there.
Okay,
and
you want
say
to
what
lean
have
back?
to say. No, lean back and all that good. Because that mic is, woo, boy, you hear the thump?
Yeah.
Well, and Makenzie, I'm not done.
Uh-oh.
Have you here like fruit?
I'm not done. Let me add on to that. See, when I was coming up as a child, by the time I reached the age of 12 years old, there was a lot of people that, my so-called friends, I thought they were my friends. Some of them really weren't my friends. And so, I wasn't interested in the girls. I took the basketball. For y'all, those of you who don't have the book, and I hope you do get the book, I had to decide what I was going to do to make it out the hood. So what I decided to do was to pick up the basketball, Makenzie. The basketball became my girlfriend, my best friend, became everything to me. So my friends would laugh at me. They would say, Skipper, don't like girls. They'd be going to parties and doing all this other stuff. You know what I would do? I would go up on Elvins Road in Southeast Washington, D.C. in the dark and shoot 300 jump shots. And I would play out game-like situations like 3, 2, 1. Skipper, and it's good. 2 shots on the free throw line. 1, you make it. The other one, you win the game. That's the type of mindset that I believe the young people need to have. Not necessarily for basketball, but just to be able to keep the focus. You have to be able, and this is good for adults too, not just young people. If you keep your focus and you map out that plan and you're determined not to let anybody break that circle, there is almost nothing. Well, let me rephrase that. There is absolutely nothing in the world that you cannot accomplish with God leading the way. And I truly believe that.
Yeah. Now, the topic of bullying is so prevalent today, especially among school-age children. What encouraging words do you have for both the child being bullied as well as the bully?
Well, the bully in itself, and I have a friend from North Carolina, Glenn Sutton, who spent some time here, and he has a big campaign on bullying, and I had a chance to talk to him a little bit. First of all, I never experienced that as a child, but my heart goes out to those kids who have experienced that. For the bully, I think it's a low-life mindset. I think there's a lot of insecurity there on behalf of the bully, and they're not happy with themselves. So in order for them to become happy within themselves, even though it's not a reality as far as happiness, they have to pick on other people. And I think it's a controlling issue. So I'm not a proponent for the bullying. I think we can do more in the schools. I think there needs to be more money allocated for just bullying. And I think that needs to come from our congressmen and other legislators that can appropriate money just to have programs for that. Now, for the child who's being bullied, the one thing that I would have to say is that it's important, not only in this case, but in all cases, for the kids to have a good rapport with their parents. The parents need to listen. They need to pay attention to their kids and things that's happening to them. And then the kids need to always feel like they can go to their parents and have that open vehicle to be able to say to them, you know, that this guy or this young lady is bullying me. I also think, lastly, that the teachers need to pay more attention to what's happening outside of the classroom. And you know what I mean by that. I mean, you see teachers after you leave your classroom, you see them doing recess sometime, and I think that sometimes the teachers, you know, because they're overworked, underpaid, sometimes they just don't, you know, they just don't go that extra mile. I think it's a job for all of us. All of us need to do better. We need more people like myself, like Roland, like Mark, to get out in the community, to go to these schools and talk to these kids. I believe that you can reach some of these bullying kids and you can change their life, but it's not going to happen unless their world changes.
So Skip, what was that guy's name that you talked to with the anti-bullying campaign? What was his name?
Glenn Sutton.
Where did Glenn Sutton go to high school?
I think Sousa Junior High School, and I think Anacostia High School.
And where is he from? Southeast
Washington, D.C.
A little street called Lindale Place.
Lindale, I am familiar with that.
Right. Well, I grew up at 3130 Lindale Place, Southeast. Wow. And I used to bully Glenn Sutton.
Wow.
So Glenn, look here, man. you know I love you, man. I'm sorry for all that I ever did.
Well, Roland just basically said that
he grew up right across the street from me, Glenn, Cornell, Tiger, all his brothers. He used to beat them, man. Makenzie, what else do you have for us right now?
I read in chapter 4 regarding self-pressure, even the word, and it states, even the word pressure can be intimidating to people. What do you mean by that?
Well, as an individual, as you're striving to pursue your goals and dreams in life, I believe that you have to place some pressure on yourself. And when I say that in the book, what I simply mean is this. I stay on myself, despite what my wife does, and my wife is very good at making sure I stay in my lane, you know, and I think that's important for me because I'm most effective while doing that. But by putting pressure on yourself, I simply mean mapping out what you want to do and do it. You know, 2 words that you should remove from your vocabulary as you're pursuing your goals and dreams in life. The first one is procrastination. That's a killer. Procrastination will keep you from achieving your goals and dreams every time. I have not met one person that fell in love with procrastination or made procrastination their first cousin or family member that was able to do that. And the second thing is stagnation. You know, you can't find yourself so embedded in the dirt that you can't get up. And a lot of that has to do with some other factors, but as it relates to self-pressure, putting pressure on yourself, and Mark had asked me a question earlier about, you know, getting the job done. Well, you know what? At some point, you need to put pressure on yourself to get it done.
Great answer, great answer.
I like your questions. Keep coming until Roland tells you can't do it.
She's like,
we need to bring you back. You need to help out sometime. We need to do some youth stuff, and I know Roland don't mind me saying this. Some youth stuff incorporated around, you know, a platform where, you know, we listen to the youth and get them involved, because just like I said that I believe that you are one of our future leaders, there are some more of them out there. But we need to reach them and give them a platform to be able to do that. And you're doing a wonderful job.
And on that note, let's give Miss Makenzie Simmons a hand, folks. Did I say Phillips or did I say Simmons?
You said Simmons.
Did I say Simmons? Makenzie Phillips is an actress or something? I'll just get that on screen. Do me a favor. I have time for one more question. Do you have one more for him?
Yes.
Great.
Do you have a follow-up for this book? And if you do, how would it be different from the first one?
Well, I don't know that the second book that's in the works is a follow-up, but I do think that there's some energy in that book that will feed off of the first book. The first book, titled Life's Constant Struggles to Success, The second book is titled Reaching Back to Help Others. Wow. Now wait till I put the ink on that one. Because, in the world we live in today, there's too much selfishness. People walk around every day, they can help, they can give. Where's the word unconditional? Why are we always looking to hold our hand out and ask somebody for something instead of giving? Not necessarily giving because God's going to bless me because I give from the heart. And so in this particular book, I've taken a break. I got six chapters written. I think I'm going to go to about 9. But I'm really looking forward to reaching back to help others because I think this is something across the board that we all can get better at doing, including myself.
All right, super. All right, folks. I'm Roland Bubba Grimes here on the Wilbert Skipper Mr. Self-Empowerment Show. So if you would do me a favor, and if you have questions for either my esteemed co-host, Miss Makenzie Simmons, or my eclectic guest, Mr. Self-Empowerment, Wilbert Skipper, please fire away with your questions. Sir.
Ms. Simmons, what's your next step in your life? Where are you going?
My next step is to actually when I grow up, I want to be an international lawyer. So that's my next step as far as toward the future. And yeah, that's my answer to that.
She has like that prototype pageantry, where she has the
It's
smile
locked in.
when she answers. Sort of like his jumper is always elbow straight, and then wrist break and that good stuff.
Perfection comes from being
Get that
prepared.
high five. That's what I'm talking about. Now, questions, sir.
This is for Skip. When you said you was taking 300 shots, how many shots did you actually make?
Well, great question. When I first started playing basketball, I really wasn't that good. I had a push shot. And a push shot was not the best shot, but it worked for me. So by the time I started shooting the 300 jump shots, I had a regular jump shot. If I shot 300 jump shots, on a good night, made 175, maybe 200, 15 feet, 30. But Roland can tell you, I think this book deal that I'm involved with now is not only my passion, but I believe that it's the lane that God wants me to be in. I think all of us have a calling from God, and I think God has called me to be in this lane and to be able to disseminate this information to people from all walks of life and from all over the world. So as it relates to the basketball piece, I realized early on that I wasn't that good. And so I had to work harder than other people. But just to know that I had a chance to make it, kept me going, and definitely shooting 300 jump shots for anybody over a period of time, even if you don't make more than what you, if you miss more than what you make, eventually you'll catch up.
Mr. Self-Empowerment question. You self-published, and what did you learn about yourself during that process?
Well, the one thing I learned is that after Malik Wade came to me with this phenomenal idea about being a self-publisher and asking for the assistance of other people who potentially could grow to believe in your ideas would work. What I learned from that was that was a struggle in itself, and I'm talking about the Kickstarter campaign. We started the Kickstarter campaign with the goal of raising $8,000, which was a tough campaign. We had to do that within a 60-day period. And let me just tell you how trying during this period of time. Roland, do I have time to tell them? Okay, let me just tell you how trying it was, Mark. Malik insisted that we jump out there. I was a little hesitant about starting the Kickstarter campaign because of the timing. We started the Kickstarter campaign, and mind you, we only had 60 days to raise $8,000, okay? We started the Kickstarter campaign on, I believe, September the 20th. Maybe I'm wrong on that date. The same day that the federal government shut down. The federal government was shut down for 21 days, I believe. Am I right, sweetheart? 21 days? Somewhere around. But anyway, the federal government was shut down. So you know what that meant? You know what happened to us?
In the D.C. area.
In the D.C. area.
Moving, right?
We did little of nothing. But Malik was determined to make it work. And I owe him a lot of credit for what he did and the backers in particular. And I need to thank all of the backers because, throughout that process, we didn't make it until the very last 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so if you can imagine having 60 days to acquire $8,000, but you don't know if you're going to get there until 3 or 4 hours before 11:45 p.m., which was the cutoff time. So yeah, I would attribute that. I would say that what I learned from that is just to not worry about it and continue to just pursue what you want to do despite the struggles.
Thank you.
Question?
Hi, my name is Bonnie. I've got a
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi. Got a question for Makenzie. I hear that you're going out of town in July.
Yes.
Could you please share with us where you're going, who you're going with, and what you'll be doing?
Well, I'm actually going to Europe. I'm going to be visiting Italy, Spain, and France with the People to People program. And there I'll be learning about the cultures there, about the food, and it's a very great experience. I think I'll love it. And I will make sure to bring back a ton of information for everyone.
If you need a bodyguard, I'd love to be with you. Look, do your thing.
Okay, and I know we're wrapping it up, and I like to just, Roland don't like to give shout outs, so I'm not gonna call this shout out. I'll just say, that I want to thank a couple people, definitely Emery Simmons for being a true supporter of the campaign, Renee Hunter, who's here as well, Darren Heat, Denise Sains, and there's a brother who's in New Jersey who's assisting me with this potential book tour there, and his name is Sam. So Sam, I know you're watching, I know you tuned in, so I want to thank you and your wife in New Jersey for tuning in and helping out. I want to thank Dave in Indianapolis. I know you're tuning in. I want to thank my good friends in North Dakota who are tuning in. We're rolling. This is not just a DC thing, like I said, and we have friends right now that are tuning in to the Roland Grimes show from all over
Port
the world.
Charles, Louisiana. Port Charles, Lake Charles.
Lake Charles.
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Gumbo, baby.
And before you folks leave, we have some gift packs to take with you. We weren't joking about that real-time pain relief. If you have faults, defects, shortcomings like arthritis, rheumatism, or migraine, you put a little bit of this stuff on your body and it miraculously makes you feel a little bit better. So make sure everybody gets their gift pack going out. I want to thank everyone that's been involved. Were there any other questions?
Oh, I have one more. Thanks, Bonnie D.
No problem.
And I don't mind shout outs. I just don't want you shouting out Pookie and them down in Lake Charles. You know, Mudbone,
As a matter of fact, they're watching.
and Casper and all that.
But they're watching. Lake Charles, Louisiana.
All right, look.
Right, Lake Charles.
Pookie and Lake Charles, Louisiana. Mudbone and Aliquippa,
Oh.
Pennsylvania.
Bedford, Virginia.
All right.
My wife's hometown. They're watching.
All right, Hambone in Danville, Virginia. All you folks, wherever you may be right now.
And Mark, thanks, Mark, for all your work, buddy. You played a big role in me getting this thing done.
And Mark from the Commonwealth of who knows where the heck that is. We want to thank you all for coming across the border and spending some time here on the Roland Grimes, not just sports and entertainment show, Roland Grimes Show Live. We'll be here every Tuesday night, Lord willing, at 7:30, and we hope to do a little more live streaming next week. We're hoping to bring a few people from law enforcement to talk about keeping us safe in our communities, and we're hoping to do a small panel with some of the potential, some of the candidates who are running for office here in the DC metropolitan area, just to give people a flavor of what's going on prior to the primaries here and across the nation. Folks, I want you to do me a favor, if you would give yourselves a big round of applause. If I may be so kind, and these folks at Everlasting Life just do a wonderful job of providing us with the ambiance, everything I want to happen. You all get a chance, make sure you say hello to the staff. If they've already put up the food, it's too late to sample. But if they have a tip jar there, and if you drop $1 or $2 in the tip jar, I'm sure they won't be mad. And as far as the Roland Grimes Show goes, remember GrimesList.com and also GrimesNation.com, where we are getting together to do our thing. Mr. Skipper, you had a closing comment?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, especially those who came out to Everlasting Life restaurant. Really appreciate your support. And I want to thank all the people who are watching by way of live stream. I think it's important that we tune in to the Roland Grimes Show, stay connected, stay focused. This show is doing some amazing things. And if you haven't, reached a point where you really believe that, then come on out. And I would suggest if you can't make it, Roland's going to be doing some live streaming continuously. I think it'll be a good idea for you to follow this show. This show is a hit. Whether or not you believe it or not, this is a hit in terms of the show. We just need you to understand that, tune in. And, and by the way, you know what? Katie Babinos, Mississippi. We love you, sweetheart. I'm done.
All right, we got to end this before he find all his cousins. Makenzie Simmons, we love you, and we want to follow you.
Thank you for your time.
Mark, you're fired. All right, folks, God bless. Rolling Bubba Grimes, Rolling Grimes Show. Love you, and we'll see you real, real soon.